Hello everyone, I, Professor Bhavik Kumar M. Kataria, welcomes you into the video series of computer networks. Till today, we have discussed unit number 5, link layer and LANs. So, we are discussing error detection and error correction techniques in this unit. So, at that time, we have discussed a few techniques related to error detection and techniques related to error corrections. Today we are going to discuss multiple access protocols. So let's see what we have discussed till today in terms of error handling. We have discussed error detection and error correction. In terms of error detection, we have discussed methods like data plus data. Then after parity checks, in terms of parity checks, there is a single bit parity or a multiple bit parity. Then after checksum, and last one was the CRC in terms of error detection. CRC stand for the cyclic redundancy check, whereas for the error correction we have discussed Hamming code. So let's see. In terms of parity check, we have learned the parity check in two-dimensional even parity or odd parity, as well as we have discussed example of cyclic redundancy check. On that case, we have used the CRC generator and CRC. Same thing at a destination side, we are verifying the contents by using the CRC. Same thing in terms of checksum, we have used the checksum as well as wrapped sum and first complement while using the checksum. Same thing for the Hamming code. We have used the data bits as well as parity bits. We have discussed the Hamming code by using the minimum 7-bit Hamming code. So there is a equation to generate or to decide the how many bits we want to use for the Hamming code. Now today we are going to discuss access control. So let's see first why there is a need to do access control. Because in terms of multiple access links and protocols, there are many types of communications are there. Like first thing, there is a point-to-point communication. It means single wire. So only two peoples are communicating with each other. Like here, two peoples are communicating with each other. So there is a point-to-point connection or a single wire connection. Another thing is a broadcast communication where shared wire or shared medium is there. Get it? So if you will look about the broadcast network, so you can look for the satellite communication. Like satellites are broadcasting, and these are the receiver station. Satellite is broadcasting the signal like that, and these are the receivers who are receiving the signals. Receivers are stands at a earth, and satellites are on air. So that is one thing about the broadcast, and one more thing, that is a switch communication. In that case, switches are used for the communication, like we have discussed local area networks. So these are the various examples. We have discussed many types of categories of network like LAN, MAN and WAN. Get it? So now during these communications, why there is a requirement of access control. So let's see. There are three protocols: channel partitioning protocols, random access protocols, and taking turn protocols. Why? Because during the communication there is need to decide who will transmit. Suppose look like in terms of any campus drive, like companies are assigning the round of GD, group discussion. Get it? So people are talking about each other, so there is need to decide the who will speak. Get it? Same thing in debates. Many times you are looking the debates in news channels. So 4 to 5 people are discussing with each other. So during this debates, there is need to assign a turn. Who will speak? Get it? because whenever two or three people are speaking parallelly, so we are not able to listen properly any single guy. So that's why there is need to do a access control in terms of computer network, because in terms of communication, whenever multiple devices or multiple entities are connected with each other, so there is need to decide who will transmit the data, otherwise it will lead a collision in computer network. So out of these three protocols, channel partitioning protocols, random access protocols, and taking turns protocols, channel partitioning protocols are FDM, frequency division multiplexing, TDM, time division multiplexing, and CDMA, code division multiple access. So we will discuss with respect to TDM first, but let me show you. Already we have discussed what is the need of medium access control. We require MSE to decide who will transmit next, and issue where and how control exercised. So control can be exercised as a centralized or in distributed manner, and in terms of synchronous and asynchronous manner. And the goals of medium access controls are initialization, fairness, priority, error limitation, and reliability. Because whenever we are going to start the communication, so whatever the resources we have, we are going to initialize with each other. Fairness means whenever we are initializing the resources, so there is need to use the resources with the fairness, because we are allotting multiple resources to one entity, and we are not allotting any single resource to another entity. So that's not a fairness. Another thing is a priority. Whenever we are giving a chance to communicate or to transmit inside the channel, so we have to decide the priority one by one, because we are giving the priority to few entities, and we are not giving any single priority to another entities. So the thing is not possible. There is need to arrange priorities or sequence during the transmission. Error limitations, whatever the errors are going to executed during the communication, so there is need to minimize this type of errors. And after all, whenever we are minimizing the errors, so definitely we will get a reliable connection. Limitation of MEC is that one station can transmit, because parallelly more than one station cannot transmit. So whenever we are using the shared medium, so limitation of shared medium is that only one station can transmit. So there is the limitation of medium access control. Now if we will look about the MAC techniques, so there are techniques like round robin, random access, reservation, and channelization. But today we are going to discuss for the random access techniques. So in terms of random access, there are multiple techniques like Aloha, CSMA, CSMA CD, and CSMA CA. In terms of Aloha, again there is two techniques, pure Aloha and slotted Aloha. Whereas in terms of CSMA, there is three techniques: CSMA, CSMA CD, and CSMA CA. CSMA stands for the carrier sense multiple access. CSMA CD stands for the carrier sense multiple access collision detection, and CSMA CA stands for the carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance. So why random access protocols are there? Because whenever we will look about the centralized approach, we have discussed there is a distributed approach or centralized approach. In terms of centralized approach, it is look like a central node is handling entire communication, look like satellite communication. So this centralized node are broadcasting with the frequency F2. Get it? So whenever central node is broadcasting with the frequency F2, so remaining nodes like what are the receiver stations or stations located at Earth, so these are accessing with the frequency F1. Get it? So whatever the broadcasted by the central node, that is accessed by the Earth station. So in terms of broadcast network, everyone can receive this frequency F2, they can set the frequency, they can match the frequency, and they can access the data. Both links are different for the downward and upward. Whatever the downward frequency is there, that is a different frequency. Same thing, whatever the upward frequency are there, that is the different frequency. It means whatever the suppose they are receiving with the accessing with the frequency F1, and these are the transmitting with the frequency F2 to reduce the collision into the network, or to reduce the overlap of data. Now we are starting with the pure Aloha protocol. So what is the pure Aloha protocol? If you will look, so anyone can transmit at any time, because there is a no limitation. Why? Look like whenever you are driving into the road, and at any point, suppose traffic police is not available, so general trends is here in our cities, people are not following the traffic rules. Get it? So everyone can behave like the beneficial of their selves. Get it? So anyone can transmitting, anyone is going at any time, any directions, anyway, either it should be legal or illegal. So same thing is look like here in terms of pure Aloha. All the stations are transmitting at their particular convenience time. So there is chance to occur the collision, because why? Whenever two stations will transmit at the same time, so it will overlap the timing slots. Look like here, station 1 is transmitting in this point. So if you will look here, so this time slot is overlapping. So it will generate a collision. Same thing, station 2 is transmitting at this point, and again station 3 is transmitting here. So it will be the collision between station 2 and station 3. Same thing is here, that is the collision during this time slot. So there is no limitation, no policies to handle this type of collision. So that is pure Aloha. But we cannot go with this type of protocols, because it will generate a collision again and again. So after the moments it will shut down, it can be shut down the whole network. Get it? So that's why new technique is arrived, and that is known as a slotted Aloha. But let first discuss the vulnerable period in terms of pure Aloha, because suppose this time is going to be overlapped. So again, suppose this frame is, we are going to transmit at transmission time TF, that is our transmission time. So any other packets or data can be overlap with this time slot. Get it? So to reduce this thing, we have to look about the vulnerable period. It means vulnerable period means the time period during the collision can occur. So it is twice than a transmission time. So we can decide the vulnerable period is equal to 2 TF. Get it? So that thing is known as a vulnerable time. So to reduce the collision in pure Aloha, we have to look about the back-off time or a back-off period. Get it? So that is the back-off period between two transmission. So whenever we will put the back-off period in between the transmission, so we can reduce the collision. But still we can improve it by the slotted Aloha. In terms of slotted Aloha, we are dividing the time slot like whatever the schedules of, like whenever you are using the public transportation. So there is a schedule of suppose you are using the buses or trains or flights. So there is a schedule like at 7 a.m. There is a few bus for few destinations. Same thing for the trains at a perfect timing. Perfect trains are scheduled for the perfect destination. Same thing in flight. Same thing is here. We are decided the time slot. So whatever the stations want to transmit, they can start their transmission at a particular time. Like at this time station 1 is transmitting. So no one can transmit during this portion. Get it? Now at this moment, at this point, that is a starting time for the transmission. So anyone can transmit at this time. Same thing, after completion of this time period, again no one can transmit during this time slot. Next one can transmit at the next time slot. Same thing, in between this time no one can start transmission. They have to wait for the next time slot. So these are the starting time. Only this time any station can start transmission. So let's see, suppose at this time two station started the transmission. Here station 2 is already start the transmission and station 3 already start the transmission. So more than one station started the transmission. Same thing is here into the third time slot, station 1 and station 4 both started the transmission. So that is collision. Get it? So again we cannot able to able to handle the situation by using the slotted aloha also. So these are the collision. Now a few techniques available, like carrier sends multiple access to overcome this limitation. So there are three types of carrier sends multiple access: non-persistent, one persistent and p-persistent carrier sends multiple access. It means before start the transmission, station will sense the channel, anyone is transmitting or not. Suppose it is a transmission time. So during this time, all the stations, whatever the stations want to transmit, they will sense the channel. Like here station 3 want to start the transmission, so station 3 will sense this entire channel. During this time anyone is transmitting or not. If no one is transmitting, then and then station 3 will start the transmission. Same thing is here in during this time slot, station 4 want to start the transmission, so station 4 will look about the entire channel, and no one is transmitting, then station 4 will start the transmission. So that is carrier sends multiple access. Now according to the types, in terms of non-persistent CSMA will transmit the data when medium is idle. Get it? So if medium is not idle, so it will wait a random period and again resends the medium, and whenever suppose medium is busy, so they can wait for the random period of time and then resends the channel again. Whenever that particular channel is free or a medium is free, then and then non-persistent CSMA can transmit during the medium. One persistent and p persistent. In terms of one persistent, they can transmit when medium is idle. In all the what that is the key difference between non-persistent and persistent. Get it? So it will continue to listen until the channel is sent idle when medium is busy. So what's happen in terms of non-persistent? If medium is busy, so non-persistent will wait for the random amount of time, and then after spending few times, it will again resends the channel. Whereas in terms of one persistent, it is continuously sensing the channel. Whenever one persistent feel like that channel is free, so directly one persistent can start their transmission. And in terms of p persistence, if channel is idle or busy, whatever the criteria is there, p persistent CSMA can start the transmission. It will send the data with the probability p. So whenever it will get the medium is idle, so p persistent is starting their transmission with the probability p. Now again, if we will look about the carrier sends multiple access, so what happens? Like during this there are the multiple nodes, like let me draw once again. There is station A, there is station B, there is station C, there is station D. Now situation is look like A want to transmit the data to station C and B want to communicate with the D. A is sending the data to C and B is sending the data to C. So let's see what's happened. whenever A will start the transmission, so A will sense the channel. Channel is free or not? Yes, channel is free. So A will start their transmission. Again, B will sense the channel because B want to send the data to D. So B will sense this portion B to D. So whenever B will feel like that this portion is empty, no one is transmission, so B will start the transmission. But A has already started the transmission, so whenever B will go ahead up towards the D and A is coming towards the C. So whenever this data will pass out from this portion, so it will generate a collision. So that is the limitation of carrier cells multiple access. So again we have to decide the vulnerable time in carrier sense multiple access. So let's see what we can do in terms of carrier sense multiple access. So this is the time needed for a signal to propagate from one end to medium to other end. So when a station sends a frame and any other station tries to send a frame during this time, so collision will result, look like whatever we have discussed here. But if first of frame reaches the end of the medium, every station will already have heard the beat and will refrain from sending. So we can generate the number of bits before starting the transmission. Get it? So we can solve out the problem of carrier sense multiple access. Let's see, we are going to solve it by using the carrier sense multiple access collision detection, CSMA-CD. So we are going to overcome the limitation of CSMA in this protocol. So when channel is idle, so again look like we have seen the non-persistent, one persistent and P persistent. So this type of category is again working here. In terms of non-persistent, packet is transmitted, one persistent packet is transmitted, and for the P persistent packet is transmitted with the probability P. Now how they are working when channel is busy. So non-persistent packet is backed off and algo repeated. So there is one algorithm that is known as a back-off algorithm, which is used in this protocol, that is back-off algorithm. So by using the help of back-off algorithm, CSMA-CD is working in terms of one persistent. It differs the transmission and immediately send when it gets the channel is idle. Same thing in terms of P persistent, it differs until the channel idle, then follow channel idle procedure. Let's see the diagram of collision detection in CSMA-CD. Suppose what we can do here, we can use the TT greater than equal to T propagation. So that is we have discussed during our earlier session transmission time and propagation time. So that is propagation time and that is transmission time. Look like whenever there are multiple stations like station A, then after station B, C and D. So let's see what's happened. Suppose A is sending the data to C, B is sending the data to D. So these are the propagation time. Get it? So propagation time between A and C. It will require few amount of time to travel from A to C. And again at this end it will require some amount of time from B to D. These are the propagation time. Another time required is a transmission time. So whenever we will use the transmission time greater than equal to propagation time, so we can reduce this collision time. Get it? Because if transmission time is greater, so till that moment another data is propagated. So we can detect the collision by using these fundamentals. We can keep transmission time greater than or equal to propagation time, so we will be able to detect the collision. Now if you will look status of CSMA CD, so there are three states: contention, transmission and idle. In transmission period, data is going to be transmitted. It means packets are traveling. That are the transmission period. Another thing is a contention period. So in terms of contention period, data is propagated. It means data is traveling inside the channel, and one portion is idle period. Suppose channel is heavily loaded, so we will keep the channel idle for few amount of time. Now last one is a carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance. Suppose whatever the limitation of CSMA, so there is collision is going to be occur. So in terms of next protocol CSMA CD, we are able to detect the collisions, but till we are not able to solve out the situation of collision. So that's why there is a new protocol is collision avoidance. So what's happened in that case? Suppose A want to transmit the B and C want to transmit the B. Get it? So two problems are here: hidden station problem and exposed station problem. So let's see first hidden station problem. A want to broadcast the data for the B and C want to broadcast the data that is again for the B. So both are transmitting. So whenever A started their broadcast, so A will not be able to know that if anyone is broadcasting or not, because A will check only this portion. So if no one is transmitting, so A will start the transmission. Same thing, whenever C start the transmission, C want to broadcast, so C will check this and C will start the transmission. Get it? So whenever B will start receiving the data, so B will start receiving from A and C both. So during this period there is a collision. So we want to reduce, or we want to avoid collision from here, this portion. Same thing in terms of exposed station problem. So whenever B is broadcasting data for the everyone, so B will forward the data in all the directions. So A and C both are listening, so that is exposed station problem. Get it? So let's see how we can overcome this both problem. So in terms of hidden station problem, so we can use the RTS and CTS. It means request to send and clear to send. So in terms of first hidden station problem, suppose A want to send the data to B, so A will send a RTS, request to send RTS packet. Same thing, any other station, C is here. So again C will send RTS to B, request to send. So B will receive two requests, one request from A and one request from C. But B can receive either one or C. Sorry, either A or C. So parallelly B cannot receive data from the A and C. So B will send clear to send to A or C, anyone. Suppose B is sending clear to send to A. So A will able to know that B is ready for receiving, and B will send the data into the channel. So A start the transmission and B will receive the data, and after receiving the data B will send ACK. And whenever after sending the request to send to B, so C will not receive the clear to send. So C will able to know that B is currently busy, so I will wait for few amount of time, and again after few moments C will send the request to send again, and B will whenever B will send clear to send, then and then C will start the transmission. So we can solve out the hidden station problem. Same thing, we are able to solve out the expose station problem also by using the RTS and CTS. So that is everything about the medium access control. We have discussed Aloha techniques in terms of pure Aloha and slotted Aloha. We have discussed CSMA techniques in terms of CSMA, CSMA CD, and CSMA CA. So till this moment we have covered all the topics of theory related to computer network. So hope you understand everything. Thanks for connected with us. Stay connected, stay healthy for the practical sessions.